Hey everyone, here's a quick MicroGranny 2 sequencing tutorial. I wanted to show you this because the MicroGranny has a pretty cool MIDI implementation which lets you sequence it using just one MIDI channel. I've got the ARTURIA BeatStep Pro here, but it also works with any other kind of sequencer, even if it's a software sequencer or something else. So I will explain what I'm doing here, and then you can just create that yourself at home with your own sequencer software or hardware. Now, if you're unfamiliar with a MicroGranny, please watch this demo video first to know what I'm talking about, basically, because I will assume that you already have played with a MicroGranny for a little bit, or that you at least know a little bit of how it works and how it plays. The notes on the lowest octave of the MIDI keyboard will change samples, so they correspond to those 6 big buttons.
Problem is, how do we know what we desire?
So in order to choose one of those samples, you have to sequence one of those low notes. And you can do that with the ARTURIA BeatStep Pro by turning one of those encoders. Now, the first step encoder, that's a C1, which you can see on the display here. But we want to go down to C-2. And if I do that, it will always play that MIDI note. So we will hear what sample or what pitch we're actually choosing. So let's try it out. So now we're down at C-2, the lowest octave, and then this plays the first sample, the C sharp plays that, the D plays this.
Problem is, how do we know?
So by sequencing one of the lowest notes, I can choose the sample that's being then transposed or chopped. So let's start by getting a beat going. So for the first step, let's just choose that one. For the fifth, we'll do the same, so I'll just turn that knob down to C-2 as well. 9 again, and 13 as well. Let's play it. Okay, let's choose another sample. For step 3, let's see what we have. Yeah, let's use that one. And also for step 12. Okay, now those are all percussion samples, so now let's add a little melodic part in there. So for step 6, let's have a look what we have there on our sample bank. Go down to the lowest octave, and let's choose that keyboard at E2, or E-2 actually. And now after that is playing, we could use steps 7 and 8 to transpose it, because after choosing this one, pitches above the lowest octave will play that sample transposed. So let's go to step 7. And step 8. And let's listen to that. Okay, and let's add just a little more at the end here. So let's choose this one here again. And because before we have other samples chosen, we have to choose the E-2 again here at 15. E-2. So that sample is active now, and then for 16 we could again transpose it. Oh, we have to enable the step 16, of course. Alright, let's add another few samples. Step 4, let's see.
Problem.
14.
Problem is, how do we know what?
And step 10. Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool, and you can do that with any kind of sequencer. Now, there's another thing that you can sequence on the MicroGranny apart from the samples and their pitch, and that's actually all the parameters that you have here on the blue and the green pages. And those knobs are assigned the MIDI CC values from 102 to 109. And when I switch to the control mode on the BeatStep Pro, I actually set that up so my first 8 encoders here correspond to those CC nodes. So by turning those, I can actually turn those knobs here on the 2 pages. I cannot sequence that with the ARTURIA BeatStep Pro, but in software I could then sequence the CC values as well to create automation over the bit crushing, for example, or the other pitch setting, start and end time, and the granular synthesis stuff. So let me play that sequence again and just wiggle with the bit crushing knob, for example. Now it will change that parameter for the current sample that's playing, so depending on when I wiggle the knob, it will change that setting only for this sample. To revert back for all samples, you can simply press the preset button and choose the preset that you're working in again, and this will load all the original settings. So now there's no bit crushing anymore. Let's add it again. And let's press the preset and the preset number button again to load the original settings. Of course, you can change all the other parameters as well. For example, the grain size and the speed. So this is cool, especially for live settings where you just want to get some more variation in your patterns, and this is very quick to do, and again you can always reset it like that. Now lastly, let's check out the probability feature of the ARTURIA BeatStep Pro, because this is also really cool to add variation to your sequences. The probability knob here can be set to 0 to 100%, and this actually tells the BeatStep that for each step there is a 10% chance to change the programmed value. And the randomness knob, which is currently set to 30%, sets how much it can change. So with 10 and 30, for each step there's a 10% chance to change the value up to 30% of what it's set right now. So let's turn it down to 0, listen to the original sequence again, and then I'll turn up the probability. This is how we know it. And now, with 10% probability. You hear that there are subtle changes now, but when I turn the probability up a lot more, to 100% for example, every step will actually change up to 30%. Now this is very chaotic now, of course, but if you trim that down to a lower number, you can get some really cool variations without messing up your rhythm. And of course you can always turn that down to 0% again and then play the original sequence. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. Again, you can do that with any kind of sequencer, so give it a try and see what you can come up with. It's really easy, it just needs one MIDI channel, and it's a lot of fun, and there's also a lot of cool accidents that can happen by switching the samples around or using this probability feature, or just randomly putting notes and MIDI CC values in there. Because again, remember, you can control all of those knobs here with MIDI as well and sequence them in your software, for example. So thanks a lot for watching, and if you liked that video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and then see you in the next video. Drop.